Welcome again for a special six-man edition of San Saba Radio Productions. Excited to be here. Quick couple of blocks over here to the stadium, which is nice. I haven't always had a ton of experience with six-man. I have watched some six-man games. I've watched the state championship game live several years ago. Do have a little bit of familiarity with the game. We're looking at about 17:20 to go here before kickoff. Both teams out on the field finishing up their warm-ups. One quick note, pretty much wherever you're watching from, I know on the screen you should see a link. We are going to have a live scoreboard running. It's not video, but it's the next best thing we can do in combination with the audio. So we'll have that running at that link. The link's also posted in the description, I believe on a comment on the Facebook page, and the description on sansabaradio.com, and working with the YouTube, trying to get it up and running here. There we go. Looks like it's up. I'll get that thrown in the description for it. And then we'll be all set on that. So just a second, I'll be quiet while I do that. I can't talk and do that sort of thing at the same time very well. So okay. So now it would appear that everything's shipshape. All right. Go delete the old video. My YouTube video didn't link up, so I had to do a new one. The issue there. So, kind of excited to see something different tonight, something I'm not really accustomed to seeing as much as I am the 11-man game. So, and excited to be able to kind of put this out there for you Richland Springs fans that can't make it over here for whatever reason. Here come the Coyotes out on the field, all black uniforms, black helmets, ready to go. The Bulldogs in white jerseys, maroon pants, maroon helmets. I do believe the Bulldogs have had a few injuries, which I know at the six-man level is sometimes a lot more significant. 2 or 3 injuries at this level makes a lot more of a dent in your team than it does when you've got 30 out there. So we'll see how that shakes out as the game kind of gets underway and progresses. But that is a very loud train horn. Yeah, I'll try and fill the air as best I can and not ramble on and on, but usually there's 2 of us talking. It's just me today, so it is what it is. Also, I do have a roster for the Coyotes, but not for the Bulldogs. Couldn't find one anywhere there, but do have one for the home team, which I assume that's who most of you are on here for anyway. So no harm, no foul there, I would assume. Just a second. Do know that both teams come in at, well, 10-1, depending on what you look at. Sometimes the Coyotes are listed at 9-1. I know there was a forfeit in there somewhere, which I know happens again. Small school. I mean, not just 6-man, but a 6-man Division II. I know the Coyotes are fortunate enough to have a lot of participation and always have enough out there for a team. But I know every school's not as fortunate in that regard. So, for you Coyote fans out there, should count yourselves fortunate that y'all have that level of participation that you do. And I know there's a lot of that's because of community support. In any of these small towns, doesn't matter what size and what level of ball you're playing, that community support and involvement is everything. Really, it makes all those kids, man, they grow up and that's all they want to be is, whether it's a Richland Springs Coyote or a San Sab Armadillo, whatever it is, that community support is really what makes that happen a lot of the time. Congratulations to you guys over there. Y'all are doing a great job with that. Still at about 11 minutes to go before this kickoff. Again, with one person, you do run out of things to talk about a little bit here. Oh, national anthem going, so I'll be quiet for a minute. All right, and so we'll start off here by giving a big shout out to Joe Pete Smith and JPS Construction for being our sponsor for this broadcast. That is something that we do kind of have to get to do these things. There's always expenses and overhead and all that stuff, so getting those covered is important for us to be able to continue doing this. So super grateful to Joe Pete there, and got a little ad spot for him that JPS Construction is equipped to handle all your land improvement needs, specializing in land clearing, road construction, and maintenance, pond construction from small stock tank to large recreational lakes. With over 30 years experience, let us give you a bid on your next project. Joe Pete Smith, 325-248-3247. It's like captains are out to midfield for the coin toss. Remember, I'm just going off the roster I have, so if anything's wrong, I apologize. Got number 0, Cohen Etheridge. Number 8, Ethan Deeds. Number 3, Rush Norris. And number 17, Billy Perry. Looks like the Coyotes won the toss and elected to receive, so it'll be Coyotes on offense to start this game. Technically speaking, we've got 8 minutes to go to a kickoff. I don't know if we'll cut that down and get this thing underway a little early or not. Sometimes that's a massive headache for us broadcasters. We think we've got some time and we don't. With that in mind, I'm going to try and do something here. maybe. Looks like the teams are taking the field already. So I've got a little it was an intro video, but it'll be a later video then. Pulled some highlights off of the internet somewhere. Off of Max Preps. Got to put together a neat little video. We'll get to it. Well, maybe at halftime. We'll see if we go past halftime. You never know. So. All right. All right. Here's the kickoff. It's going to go out of bounds on the Bulldogs sideline. Goes out, and we still got the 11-man numbers on there, so it's going to be a hard one for me to decipher. It looks like it'll be on the 30-yard line for the Coyotes, and here we go. 1st and 15. Here's the snap and the pitch back. Finding some room up the middle. He's got one man to beat. And he's going to take it to the house for the first play of the game. And that is Cohen Etheridge with your first play touchdown for the Coyotes. So a great start to the game there. 6-0 with 9 seconds off the clock. All right. We'll try the kick for the conversion here. Snap, good hold. Kick is up. And no good, just wide right on the kick. Had the distance just a bit outside. So, have a lightning strike to start the game, and Coyotes take the early lead 6-0. Talked about community involvement a little bit. I mean, you can see all these younger kids and everything running around and helping out on the sidelines, things like that. And again, that's just always good to see. It's good for the life of your program when you see that sort of stuff. You know the future's in good hands, and especially for Coyote fans, that tradition can continue. And kick is up down the middle of the field. That's a good kick, and it's going to die around, looks like the 25. Pushed out of bounds after a gain of maybe 2 yards. That is going to be all the way back at, fielded at the 15, still trying to get used to those yard lines. So that's going to come out to the 18-yard line. It'll be 1st and 15 for the Bulldogs there. Bulldogs making a late change out of the huddle here before they send the play call in. Bulldogs run up to the line quick. They're going to be under center, heavy to the left side. They're going to toss it to the back, running left, and shooting through and making the tackle looks like Cohen again. It's a great job finding a hole there in the blocking and getting through to make the tackle. It's going to be a gain of 1 yard on the play out to the 19. It'll be 2nd and 14. I do know that, go back and look at scores, and that the Coyote defense has been really stingy. I know it's kind of a hallmark of six-man football is the scoring, and you get a lot of basketball-looking scores out there, but I've seen a lot of zeros on the board there for the Coyotes. So see if they can do that again today. And as the Bulldogs come up to the line, looks like they're going to call a quick timeout here with 2nd and long coming up. 9:03 to go here in this first quarter. Again, the Coyote lead 6-0. Again, if you're just joining us, you can see it on the screen. Also put the link, I think, in the descriptions or the comments of everywhere the broadcast is going out. There is a live scoreboard we've got running. Goes well with the broadcast. Lets you kind of see, you can always see the time and the score and everything without relying on me to constantly say it. I try and keep everyone as updated as I can, but sometimes you just forget to keep reminding people of it. So there is that. It's customized. It's pretty neat looking scoreboard, pretty useful. All right, so Bulldogs out here, heavy right, shotgun formation, drops back to pass. Going to pass on a crossing route and taken down after a gain of 4. That's Billy Perry on the tackle, taken down on the Coyote sideline. And that's going to be 3rd and 10 coming up for the Bulldogs. So at least interesting for me there, they go into the shotgun and don't toss it back to another player to give him the run-pass option. Just ran a straight pass play, snap it, drop back, and try and throw it. Bulldogs hurry up under center this time. Going to toss left and throw back right. Had a man open, but pressure on the quarterback by Ethan Deeds forces a bad throw, and the pass falls incomplete. So 4th and 10 now for the Bulldogs. A good play design by the Bulldogs there. Had a man open, but the pressure just prevented him from being able to get the ball out there. It does look like the Bulldogs are lined up to punt the ball. And it is going to be out of bounds around the 25-yard line. So about a 30-yard punt. We'll give the Coyotes 1st and 15 at their own 25-yard line. Ball will be on the left hash as they take over. All right, under center are the Coyotes here. It's going to be a toss going left and fumbled in the backfield. There's a scrum for the ball, and it looks like the Bulldogs recover. Just looks like the ball bounced off the face mask of Billy Perry on the toss, and ball goes on the ground, and that's a turnover. Bulldogs will take over on the 21-yard line of the Coyotes and threaten to even this game up. 8:09 to go here in this first quarter. All right, and to the line are the Bulldogs. They're going to do a late shift under center. Here's the snap and a handoff straight up the middle. Well done by the defense. That is... Numbers are kind of hard to see sometimes. They get a little scrunched up with the shoulder pads underneath, but that was Rush Norris coming in and taking the legs out. It's going to be a gain of 2 down to the 19-yard line for 2nd and 13. Here come the Bulldogs to the line. Going to stay under center, kind of a 2-back formation, kind of a split back. We're going to have motion right to left out of the backfield. Here's a snap and another handoff up the middle. Almost a broken tackle, but looks like Lane Ward, number 16, is able to get him on the ground after a gain of 3. So, 3rd and 9 coming up for the Bulldogs. Coyotes doing a good job of making the tackles with the first man. Haven't really seen broken tackles thus far out of the Bulldogs. Same formation here, under center, split back formation. It's going to be a toss to the right. Trying to cut back, and he's going nowhere. He's going to be stopped for maybe 1. No gain on the play. Didn't get who was in on that tackle, but was forced to cut back to the inside and taken down for no gain on the play. 4th and 9 coming up at the 15-yard line. All right, here's the snap. drops back to pass, fakes the handoff, throws deep to the end zone where it will be knocked down. Incomplete pass. That will be a turnover on downs. Looks like you had Etheridge and Deeds in on the coverage there, both going up to knock that ball down. And the Coyotes will take over, looking to extend their advantage. All right, 1st and 15, 6:15 to go in this first quarter. Coyotes going to spread it out in the shotgun formation. Here's the snap, toss back. Scrambling around, looking for someone to throw to. Going to just tuck it and get what he can. That is Deeds on the play, and he's going to gain 3 out to the 18-yard line. Good pressure there by the Bulldogs. And probably a good decision there to tuck it and just get what he can get. Not try and force a throw under heavy pressure. So bring up 2nd and 12 for the Coyote offense. Play is called. Coming up to the line. Again, sticking with that shotgun formation here. And a flag on the play. Pre-snap penalty. Officials discussing the call. And it looks like it's going to be a false start on the offense, so that'll back them up 5. Make it 2nd and 17. Coyotes already got the play called. They're ready to trying to come to the line while they're walking off the penalty. All right, now they are up. Looks like they're going to be under center. 2 to the right, 1 to the left, 1 back in the backfield. Here's the snap. It's going to be a toss back to Etheridge. He's going to air it out down the middle of the field, and he's got a receiver wide open. And no one's going to catch him. He's going to score. And that was Rush Norris streaking down the middle of the field. A well-placed ball. And that is going to be a 62-yard touchdown pass for the Coyotes. So 12-0 now the score. Try the conversion one more time here. See if we can get it up to 14. Here's the snap, high snap, but it gets it down. There's the kick, and a great job there on that operation. The high snap, able to recover, get a good hold down, and the kick is good. Looks like that's by Evan Deeds, and that's going to push it up to 14-0 for the Coyotes. 5:24 to go in the first quarter. And that was a really well thrown ball on that touchdown. Wasn't a ton of separation. He was able to get a little bit behind the defense, had a step or two on him, and just really well placed right over the safety. And then great work just outrunning the defense to the end zone. So in the early going here, Coyotes look to be in pretty firm control of the situation. 2 possessions for each team, 2 scores for the Coyotes, nothing for the Bulldogs even on the short field. Lining up for the kickoff here, and the kick is up deep down the middle of the field, fielded around the 10-yard line, running to the Bulldogs sideline, trying to cut it back up the middle, and that is Billy Perry slinging him down at the 23-yard line. So 13-yard return. Ball will be on the left hash, 1st and 15 for the Bulldogs. All right, here come the Bulldogs to the line. They're going to be in the shotgun formation. 2 right, 1 left, 1 back next to the right of the quarterback in the backfield. Here's the snap, dropping back to pass. Airing it out deep again down the Coyote sideline. That's overthrown, well covered anyway. And that's going to be 2nd and 15. A late flag comes in the backfield. We'll see what the call is. Looks like that's going to be an illegal block below the waist. So we're going to mark it off 15. I think that should have been just half the distance of the goal, but works out in the Coyotes' favor. See, I almost said Coyotes. Do have to work on that. It's going to be 1st and 30 now. And the snap is over the head of the quarterback. He's going to fall on the ball in the end zone. And that's going to be a safety for the Coyotes on the high snap. All the quarterback could do is go fall on the ball in the end zone, and that'll make it 16-0 Coyotes. As I was saying, I would typically pronounce it Coyotes, so I'm having to really focus and make sure I say Coyotes every time. I've said it both ways before in my life, but I probably say it Coyote more. I personally think that safeties are probably the most brutal play in football, just because you got to give the ball back. You give up points, and then you got to turn around and kick it right back. So Bulldogs are lined up to kick it off here at their own 20-yard line. Seems to be kind of a delay here in getting it kicked off. There's the whistle. And there's the kick, a low kick down the middle. That's going to be fielded by Etheridge. He's going to try and find some room down the Coyote sideline. Now he's going to cut it all the way back across the field down the Bulldog sideline. And if he's got the speed, he's going to go. Cuts it back to the middle of the field. Breaks a tackle, and he's going to take it all the way to the end zone. Touchdown Coyotes. Winding his way to the end zone, over to his own sideline, back across to the other. Cut it back to the middle of the field, breaking a tackle, and taking it all the way into the end zone. 22-0 Coyotes, 4:54 to go in this first quarter. Extra point team out on the field. Deeds back to kick it. Here's snap, better snap that time. Hold is down, kick is up. And it's good, so another 2 points for the Coyotes will take them up to 24-0. And they are rolling early. I better get this in. I'm supposed to read this off. Let me go find it. Some state championship game information, which, based off what I'm seeing here tonight, might be of great interest to any Coyote fans out there. So, attention high school football fans, don't miss out on the opportunity to be a part of Texas football history. Mark your calendars for the UIL State Football Championships, December 17th through 20th at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, where the best teams from 6-man to 6A leave it all on the field in the hopes of being named champion. For the latest updates and ticket information, head over to uiltexas.org/football. Again, that's uiltexas.org/football. Got to make sure I get that stuff in that I got to get in, because looks like this one may be in and early. All right, he's back to kick off here. Everyone's ready to go, and the kick is in the air. Fair caught at the 19-yard line. Wait for a fair catch, and they tried to take off with the ball. Threw me off for a second, but that'll be 1st and 15 at the 19-yard line for the Bulldogs on the right. Oh, so there's some confusion. They're going to give them the 20-yard line. I think it's fair caught inside the 20. It'll come out to the 20. So it'll be on the right hash near the Coyote sideline. And score 24-0, 4:53 to go in this first quarter early on. Zephyr comes out shotgun, 2 left, 1 right. Running back to the right of the quarterback. Going to motion from left to right. Going to fake kind of a sweep to that motion. He's going to try and throw it down the Bulldog sideline. Just overthrown. Again, well covered. Incomplete pass. 2nd and 15 coming up for the Bulldogs. They've only had 1 open receiver this time, and that was on the trick play earlier. Up to the line, under center, 2 backs, toss right, trying to cut upfield, and he's going to be taken down. A gain of 5. That's going to be I lost my roster. Billy Perry. That's what I thought. I'm getting the numbers down, but I don't want to say the wrong name out there. So 3rd and 10 now for the Bulldog offense. Bulldogs do have some height out there. 2 right, 1 left, under center, 1 back in the backfield. Here's the snap and a toss going left. Good edge set there by number 16, Lane Ward. I didn't see who came in and made the tackle after that, but they tried to kick him out on a block, and he held his ground really well there, cut it back up inside into the teeth of the defense. It's going to be a gain of 1. Bring up 4th and 9 on the 20 or 26-yard line. And it looks like they're going to go for it. Here's the snap, play action, looking to pass, throwing to the middle of the field. It's going to be caught, but for a minimal gain of 4 yards, needed 9, and that's going to be Coyote football again. This time on the Bulldog 30-yard line. So, Coyote offense looking to put some more points back up on the board with about 3.5 to go in this first quarter. Line up under center, 2 right, 1 left, back deep in the backfield. Here's the snap and the toss back to Etheridge in the backfield. Stiff arm on his own sideline, slung out of bounds. Took out a photographer. I think she's all right. And that is going to be a gain of 7 on the play. So we'll bring up 2nd and 8. Down to the 23-yard line. So a gain of 7. That's probably the best defensive play, well, other than the fumble recovery that the Bulldogs have had this whole time. Okay, back into the shotgun formation. 1 wide receiver to each side, 2 backs in the backfield. A toss back to Deeds. He's going to sit back looking for someone to throw to. He's going to dump it off in the flats to Perry, who's going to take it all the way into the end zone. So a 23-yard touchdown pass, just a little dump off in the flats, and good blocking by a receiver downfield, and goes into the end zone untouched for a 4th touchdown of the night, 30-0, 3:11 to go in this first quarter. And here's the kicking team again to try for that extra 2 points. Ooh, high snap off the hands of the holder and recovered by the Bulldogs deep in the backfield. So the score will remain 30-0. Kickoff coming up for your Coyotes. Again, almost said Coyotes. Coyotes. All right. Both teams out on the field for the kickoff. Got 3 to the left of the kicker, 2 to the right. And kick is up. And pretty deep, fielded at about the 13-yard line. He's going to try and find some space up the middle of the field. Going to work towards the Bulldog sideline, bounce it out. And a pretty solid return. That's out to the 34-yard line before he's taken down by several Coyotes at once there. So 1st and 15 for the Bulldogs. 3:03 to go in this first quarter. 30-0 the score in favor of the Coyotes. The Bulldogs have sent the play into the huddle. Break the huddle. A little slower up to the ball now than they have been. 2 to the right of the center in a shotgun formation. Got kind of an up back and a tip back to the left of the quarterback. It's going to be a straight pass. Drops back. Finds a man on the Bulldog sideline. He breaks a tackle and he's on the run. He's going to be tackled by... Trouble seeing these numbers. Lane Ward. But it is going to be all the way down to the Coyote 33 on that play. Oh, there is a flag way behind the play back here. I didn't notice it until now. The officials are talking about it. We've got an unsportsmanlike conduct on the Coyotes. It did seem like there was a little bit of extracurricular going on behind the play involving the Bulldogs quarterback, I think. So I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it results in a 15-yard penalty. And now the Bulldogs are all the way down to the 11-yard line. Like the officials are writing everything down. If you don't know, that is the rule. So then sportsmanlike conducts are a little bit different. If you get 2 of those in a game, then you're done for the game. So they always have to write down the numbers and make sure they keep track of all that. All right, so Bulldogs to the line. Under center, going to hand it off right up the middle. Finding a little bit of space there is the running back for the Bulldogs, and he's down to the 5. That's going to be 2nd and goal from the 5. All right, so a test for the Coyote defense here. The big play and the penalty following, and we'll see if they can bow up here and keep the Bulldogs out of the end zone. Again, 2nd and goal from the 5-yard line. Under center. To the right, 1 left, motion left to right, handoff up the middle again, off the left side, diving down to the 1-yard line. The back for the Bulldogs, 3rd and goal coming up from the 1 now. Coyotes honestly a little fortunate on that play. He did kind of trip over his blocker's foot as he tried to bounce it off that left side. If he had not done that, he probably would have made it into the end zone. But a good break for the Coyote defense. They get another breath of life here. 3rd and goal from the 1. And it looks like we have a timeout by the Coyotes here, as they want to talk over this defensive stand that they're trying to make. All right. So I'd say, I mean, minus the fumble and then kind of the big play and the penalty here on this defensive drive, I mean, I would say that this game has started out about as well as you could like if you're a Coyote fan. 30-0, 1:43 to go in this first quarter. Especially if you make a defensive stand here, you're well on your way towards going home early in this one. Bulldogs rush to the line, under center, handoff up the middle, and into the end zone. A good tackle there by Perry, just on his legs. Couldn't keep him from pushing into the end zone. And so that'll be the first score of the game for the Bulldogs. Cut the lead to 30-6 with the extra point attempt pending. Looks like they will attempt to kick as well. There's a snap. Hold. Looks like it was almost blocked by the Coyotes. It falls well short of the goalpost, so that is no good. The score will remain 30-6, 1:40 to go here in this first quarter. I'll say it's, watching this, I would say the biggest difference that I'm seeing here is just playing fast. Whether it's, the Coyotes actually being that much faster as a team, they just seem to, especially on defense, just seem to really attack and not hesitate and do what you want a defense to do, which is not think a whole lot. You practice enough and you've seen enough at this point in the season that you're just reacting and flying around where you're supposed to go. And I feel like that's what you see with the Coyote defense, whereas the Bulldog defense seems just a little more tentative, I would say, and having a little bit of trouble just flying around. And I do think there's a athleticism difference, too, between the two teams, but here are the kickoff and return teams, and here's a snap, and that's going to be an onside kick fielded by the Coyotes at their own 32-yard line. That is Ethan Deeds falling on that ball. Front line did a good job of letting it go by. It was coming in really hot, and here comes the Coyote offense, leading 30-6, shotgun formation, one to each side of the center, two backs in the backfield with the quarterback. Here's the snap, and they toss to Etheridge. He's just going to run it off the right side. There is a flag down. He's going to be taken down after a gain of about 6 yards, it looks like. We'll see what the flag is. They're not marking the ball, so it looks like it is going to be against the offense. Looks like an illegal formation on the offense, so that'll back it up to 1st and 20 now for the Coyotes, back to their own 27-yard line. Staying in that shotgun formation, now the receivers are going to get wide out here. Here's the snap. The toss back to Perry, going to cut back towards the Bulldog sideline, going to try and outrun one, and he doesn't, but he's going to be 5 yards shy of the first down, so a gain of 15, call it 16 on the play. He's going to be 4 yards shy. He'll be 2nd and 4 now. So no harm, no foul on the penalty. Gets that yardage back and much more. Same formation here for the Coyotes. Here's the snap. The toss back to Etheridge. He's going to try and find some room at the middle. Cuts it up the middle and dragged down from behind. Had a seam, was going to be gone if that one defender doesn't make the play, but he does. It's going to be a first down. It's going to be a gain of 12 on the play. Got a Bulldog defender down with the helmet off. Down to the, looks like the 25-yard line. Ball will be in the middle of the field. .117 to go in this first quarter. Again, your Coyotes lead 30-6. Coyotes come to the line, stayed in that shotgun formation. One receiver wide each side. Here's the snap. To the right, a pitch to Etheridge. He's going to look back across the field, trying to find a receiver. He's got a man, decides to tuck it, cut back to the Bulldog sideline, and that's going to be a walk-in touchdown of 25 yards for Etheridge. And push the score to 36-6. Evan Deeds out to kick. Snap. Good hold. Kick is up. Oh, and it looks like push just to the left. That's going to keep the score 36-6. 48 seconds to go in the first quarter. There's another observation, I guess, for me is that's another thing is the Coyotes, especially Etheridge, there just seem to have a good understanding that there's only 6 defenders on the field. There's a lot of grass that's going to be open, and does a good job. Again, him in particular, but the team as well, just keeping eyes peeled and finding those lanes of space, and being willing to go a little more east and west than you would typically want in the 11-man game, with there being almost twice as many defenders out there. Just a lot more grass even on the smaller field, and doing a good job of just finding that grass and being willing to travel to get to it. All right. Cubs look about ready to kick off. 3 to the left, 2 to the right. Kick is up, and it's a high kick. It's going to hit the turf, and the Cowboys are going to recover it. Yeah, it looks like that's going to be Coyote ball. Bulldogs had every opportunity for someone to step up and fair catch it, and that's what their coach on the sideline is waving at them, and no one did. Yeah, it was kind of an odd play. It was recovered by Perry. But, yeah. Kind of just seemed like no one on the return team really knew what to do or wanted to be the one to do it. And as a result, up 30 already. The Coyotes have the ball back with 46 seconds to go in this first quarter. All right, so under center with 2 backs. Here's a snap and a toss. Back to Perry. He's going to find some space down the Coyote sideline, and he's going to be forced out of bounds inside the 20 down to the 17-yard line. It's going to be right at a first down. We'll see if they give it to him. Yep, they're going to give him 1st and 15 again for the Coyotes at the Bulldogs 17-yard line. All right, under center again, still 2 backs in the backfield. It's going to be the same play, going left. Toss back to Perry, runs over defender, tries to break one more tackle, can't quite do it. He's going to be taken down, looks like at the 2-yard line. Almost able to power into the end zone, gets taken down 2 yards shy. And that's going to be first and goal now from that 2-yard line. So 19 seconds to go and ticking here in this first quarter. Looks like the Coyotes are going to try and get another play off here. Going to be that same formation, just with an up back. Going to be a toss right to Etheridge, and there's no one over there. He's going to walk into the end zone again. 42-6 now for your Coyotes. Extra point pending. A little bit of a high snap. The hold gets down. Kick is good, and it looks like that was Perry on that kick. So a change at kicker, at least for that play. Results in an extra 2 points, 44-6 for the Coyotes. And that offense just keeps on rolling here. They're only the one stop, and it is just an unfortunate just pitch off the face mask of the running back. And the fumble recovered at that point by the Bulldogs. It's really the only thing that has put a dent in this offensive success so far this game. 6 touchdowns here in this opening quarter. It's like the special teams coach redirecting some Coyotes. There's the kick. It's a high kick, fielded around the 25, and he goes backwards. He's going to lose a couple of yards back to the, looks like the 23. That's where all right, and that will be the end of the first quarter, 44-6 Coyotes. Bulldog football. They're at their own 23-yard line after this brief break in the action. I'll go ahead and read this spiel again here for the state championship information. Attention high school football fans, don't miss out on the opportunity to be a part of Texas football history. Mark your calendars for the UIL State Football Championships, December 17th through 20th at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, where the best teams from 6-man to 6A leave it all on the field in the hopes of being named champion. For the latest updates and ticket information, head over to uiltexas.org/football. Again, that's uiltexas.org/football. Way if you're out there listening or in any place, it does help me. I'd appreciate it if we If you haven't already, if you give my Facebook page a follow, my YouTube channel a follow, all that stuff just helps me get my stuff out to everyone that is interested in it. All right, Bulldogs coming up to... Here's a snap. Toss back this time. Coyotes are all over the quarterback, and he's simply going to throw it out of bounds, about straight out of bounds. Good job. Good job by the defense. Lots of pressure, and that's going to be an intentional grounding call, and a good one there. He did not get outside the pocket, really. He's just going straight backwards. And I mean, didn't even come close to getting it past the line of scrimmage or anything. Just, I mean, if he is outside the pocket, you still got to get it past the line of scrimmage. So, second and a lot. It's close to 30. Here's the snap. And a quick handoff at the middle, trying a little bit of trickery there, and he's going to get 5 on the play. Falls back down after he gets up. I think he's trying to get a call there. Doesn't get a call. Couldn't see who was in on the tackle there. But it's going to be third and looks like 23. My clock operator had to step out for a minute, so I'm doing my best to keep everything in order. All right, here's the snap. It's a toss back, and it's fumbled. And it's covered by the Coyotes, kind of bouncing around. Bulldogs almost had it, and then popped loose one more time, and the Coyotes recover. Again, having a little bit of trouble seeing these numbers. Bear with me. That is Eli Hutchins on the recovery there. The Coyotes are going to take over first and goal now from the 7-yard line of the Bulldogs. So up 38 and looking to score again and keep pouring it on here. Under center, got the fullback, almost that offset I formation here. And it's going to be a toss going right. And again, just going to walk around the edge. A flag. Touchdown is signaled, but a flag in the backfield. Yeah, it was Etheridge walking into the end zone again, but they're going to call a hold on the right side of the offense there and back it up. So we'll be back to the 17-yard line now, so still first and goal, but from the 17. So same formation here for the Coyotes, and it's going to be a play-action pass. He's got a man deep, and that's going to be a touchdown to Lane Ward. So, and I did not see who threw it. It's my only thing. So I apologize for that. But it looks like it'll be Perry on for the kick. And it may have been Perry that threw that. I'm not sure, but I think it was. But on for the kick now. 50-6 the score right now. Here's snap. Really high snap. Fielded. Going to throw it back across his body. It was Deeds that caught it. Running all the way around the defense in a circle. And he's going to take it in for that extra point. So 51-6. It's a good fire drill there on the high snap. Etheridge finding Deeds there, and Deeds making some moves, and defense seemed to kind of stop on the play. I'm not sure what exactly what exactly they were looking at and what they were seeing, but the end result is that extra point for the Coyotes, 51-6, 8:55 to go here in this second quarter. All right. Coyotes ready to kick. And a good kick down the middle of the field. Hits the turf. Going to be fielded around the 10. And he's going to have nowhere to go. There's 4 Coyotes there. Had Deeds and Vogel in on that tackle. Just nowhere to go there. Good job covering that kick. Things of interest maybe out here. With 10 minutes to go in the second quarter, you got Oglesby up on Cherokee 20-8. Some other scores. You had Strawn over Bluffdale Big last night, I believe. Water Valley 32-8 over Newcastle. Here's a snap. A run up the middle for the Bulldogs. Wrapped up by 3 different Coyotes. Deeds in there. A few others. Got Region 2. You got Klondike over Motley County 32-24. Jayton over Grand Falls Royalty 38-18. That's at half. All right, Zephyr up to the ball again. Snap it, toss to the right. And just not finding much at any given point. Like Evan Deeds in on the tackle there. Gain another 3 yards. It's still going to be 3rd and 8 here. Right now, kind of a successful play most of the time is 3 or 4 yards for the Bulldogs. All right. And a shift here. Still under center. And a toss going left. Trying to find the edge. Gets it momentarily, but it's closed down quickly by Ward. And then Etheridge arriving late. That's going to be a gain of 1. And that's kind of that playing fast I was talking about earlier. The edge was there for a second, it seemed like. And then, 1 second later, there's nothing there. So 4th and 7. For the Bulldogs, 7:14 to go in this second quarter. Coyotes lead 51-6. Shotgun formation here. Here's the snap. Fakes the handoff, drops back to pass, has a man deep, and it's going to be caught. It's going to be down to the 29-yard line of the Coyotes. Found a lot of room there, just kind of snuck behind the defense. Ball was a little bit underthrown, almost gave the Coyote defense an opportunity to recover. Couldn't quite do it. Ethan Deeds gets up limping a little bit there. I think he's all right. I think he just got a little dinged up. And it looks like the Bulldogs will call their second timeout of the half. 6:29 to go in this second quarter. Coyotes lead 51-6. 1st and 15 on the 29-yard line. Coming up. All right, so the Coyote defense is back out on the field, still waiting on the Bulldog offense to finish their discussion over there. All right, so everyone's back out on the field now. Bulldogs in their huddle. And they're going to be in the shotgun. Fullback and tailback. And just a handoff up the middle. Finding a little bit of room. Again, it's another 3-yard play. Tackled by a bunch of Coyotes there. I think Ethan Deeds the main one in on that tackle. 2nd and 12. Same formation here, stayed in that shotgun. Here's the snap. Fake the handoff up the middle, looking deep down the field. Ball is in the air and really well played. That's Evan Deeds on that. Receiver had a little bit of a step, and Deeds reached up and just flicked it away at the last second. Really good job playing the ball on that one. So it brings up 3rd and 12 for the Bulldog offense. We are kind of right on the verge. We're on that 45-point mark. Bulldogs trying to see if they can cut that back down and extend the game, and that's not going to help them. That's going to be a false start on both players to the right of the center. I don't think I can really call them linemen. I don't know what the technical term is for it. All right, Bulldogs out there. Shotgun formation to the right, one left, one back in the backfield to the left of the quarterback. Here's the snap, straight drop back, looking deep, looking to find a man, and that's going to be a little high and incomplete. We've only gotten about half the needed yardage anyway. It's going to be 4th now and 17 at the 31-yard line of the Coyotes. We'll see what the Bulldogs have for that. 5:39 to go here in the second quarter. Again, the score remains 51-6 in favor of your Richland Springs Coyotes. All right, shotgun formation to the right of the center. Here's the snap, straight draw back to pass again. Deep throw down the Bulldog sideline, incomplete. That was Ethan Deeds. I think kind of upset. He kind of had an interception go through his hands there, but ball will come back to where the line of scrimmage was, and it'll be a turnover on downs. Coyotes will take over. Again, up 45 points already. 5.5 minutes to go here in this first half. See if they can continue to stretch that lead out and send this thing home at half. Shotgun formation, one to each side of the center, two backs in the backfield, one to the right of the quarterback, one deep. Here's the snap, and it's going to be a toss to Etheridge, who's the deep man, backpedaling, trying to find a little bit of space, makes a throw, and bounces it in to the intended receiver. Had a defender kind of hanging off of him as he threw that ball. Hutchins, the intended receiver on the play, skipped right in front of him. Couldn't quite get it off the grass, and it's going to be 2nd and 15 for the Coyotes. All right, here come the Coyotes. Same formation here, except back is flipped to the left of the quarterback. Going to toss it back to Etheridge. Going to try and find some space to run. Still looking downfield. Going to bounce it out to the Coyote sideline. Good blocking by receiver downfield by Ward. That's who that was. Pushed the defender out of bounds and all the way into the end zone goes Etheridge. That one block was all he needed. No other defenders in the area. And that's going to be another touchdown. Push the lead to 57-6. 5:14 to go before half. Looks like Perry coming down to line up to attempt the extra point kick. Snap. Good hold. Good snap. Good kick. 2 more points for your Coyotes, and 57-6 is the score. I think we can officially say the route is on. And it is hard to be on the other side of the ball there in games like this. As a coach over there, you're just trying to keep their heads in the game and keep them fighting. But it is certainly difficult at this juncture. Bulldogs starting to take the field for the kick return. Coyotes still in the huddle. And here's the kick, a low kind of little squib. Oh, the Bulldogs are going to try and pitch it back to the deep return man, and almost disaster. It was fumbled, but they managed to get back on top of it. They'll take over at their own 22-yard line. Scores of interest to anyone interested in anything related to San Saba. Rosebud Lott up 7-0 early on against Refugio, which is interesting. Kennedy up 7-0 on Crawford. Thorndale and Ganado tied at 7 towards the end of the first quarter. And we'll stop there. Bulldogs are under center here. Here's the snap. Tackled as he hands it off, but does get the handoff off, and he breaks open into the middle of the field. He's got Ethan Deeds chasing him down, stiff-armed. He's going to keep going, and he's going to be down just shy at the 1-yard line. An impressive run there. I mean, the Coyotes almost had the quarterback before he handed it off, but he managed to get the ball away, and then a strong stiff arm by the Bulldog against Deeds, and almost made it in the end zone. Couldn't quite keep his footing. Looks like they're going to spot it at the 2. Moved it back a yard. So it's going to be first and goal from the 2-yard line. Score 59-6, but the Bulldogs threatening. About 4.5 to go before half.
4 fumbles in the first 8 minutes of the game.
Under center. Looks like we got a false start. I think the center tried to snap the ball and just lost his grip on it, and then everyone else moved, and the ball really didn't. We're having a discussion between the officials, so we'll see what they have to say. So you're going to call offsides against the defense. No, it's kind of just a weird sight in the middle there. I'm not entirely sure what exactly happened. But that's going to move the ball half the distance down to the 1. First and goal from there for the Bulldogs. All right, so under center, 3 men to the right of center, 1 back deep. Here's the snap, going to hand it off up the middle, and he's going to power into the end zone for the second Bulldog touchdown of the game. Out for the extra point here. Score is currently 59-12 now. And they're going to fake it, try and throw it into the end zone, and that's going to be no good. So, 59-12, a 47-point lead, 4 minutes and 7 seconds to go in this first half. Again, big thanks to Joe Pete Smith for sponsoring this broadcast. JPS Construction, they're equipped to handle all your land improvement needs, specializing in land clearing, road construction, and maintenance, pond construction, from a small stock tank to large recreational lakes. With over 30 years' experience, let us give you a bid on your next project. It's Joe Pete Smith at 325-248-3247. Right, so out here ready for the kickoff. Bulldogs talking about some things. Coyotes up all within 10 yards of that onside kick area, and that's kicked just really hard. That's Etheridge fielding it, and he's got some room down the Coyote sideline, and he's just going to step out across midfield. Be at the 33-yard line, it looks like. Looks like he could have had one of those plays where he maybe cut it all the way back across, but at the same time, I think with the score being what it is, self-preservation isn't a bad thing either. Just stepping out of bounds, taking over with good field position anyway. First and 10, under center, 2 backs in the backfield. Here's snap, and the toss going left to Perry. He's going to try and get the edge. And a good job by the Bulldog defense. They don't allow him to get the edge. He's going to gain 2 yards on the play down to the 31. It's going to be 2nd and 13. And this is a time where I would think it's not the worst thing in the world to just run a little clock here. You've got your 45 points that you need to end it at half. Just let it tick a little bit. And they are doing that. They're not in much of a rush here, not nearly as quick to the ball as they've been. Shotgun formation here. Deeds at the quarterback position. Etheridge behind him. And they're going to snap it to Perry and toss it back to Etheridge, who's going to try and find some room down the Coyote sideline. And he's going to stay up. He's going to somehow keep his balance all the way down inside the 5. Really impressive there. Not going down. There is a flag all the way back near the line of scrimmage, so we'll see what that is. Coyotes look like they're heading back. So yeah, their officials are waving them back, so it looks like that is going to be something on the offense. But a really legal formation, but a really athletic play there by Etheridge to stay up and almost go score. Turns out to be all for naught due to the penalty, but still a great individual effort on the play. So ball will back up to the 37. It's going to be 2nd and that is going to be 2nd and 19. And the spot's a little off there, but a quick throw out here, and it's going to be incomplete. Had an attempt of deeds to deeds there. It's going to hit the turf and bring up 3rd and 19. Well, so much for burning that clock. They'll be in the shotgun formation, single receiver to each side. It's going to be snapped to Ethan Deeds, going to be tossed back to Perry. He's going to cut back towards the Bulldog sideline. Going to keep bouncing outside, but he's going to get taken down after gaining about 4, well defended by the Bulldogs. That's going to be 4th and 16 now for the Coyotes. Does it look like they're going to run offensive play? They're under center, 2 to right, 1 left, running back in the backfield. That's Etheridge. They're going to toss it back to him. He's going to try and find a man downfield. He's got a man. He's going to throw it deep toward. It's caught in the end zone. There's a flag in the backfield, and it looks like it's going to be a hold. Oh, and now we have a late flag. Looks like that's going to be on the Bulldog sideline. So that's interesting because the way this should work is the hold should be enforced. It's a live ball penalty. But then the late flag on the sideline is a personal foul, and that should be then marked off as well back 15 yards against the Bulldogs, and the personal foul should carry an automatic first down. So that should allow the Coyotes to keep possession here of the ball. The Coyotes have broken the huddle already. So it does look like that's what they're doing. They're going to mark both off, and it's going to be a first down for the Coyotes. So looks like that was the coaching staff for the Bulldogs there really shooting themselves in the foot. They were going to get the ball back. It was an incomplete pass. On 4th down, it was going to be there's some discussion. Yeah, they're moving the sticks now. Yeah, it is a first down. They had to still 4th down, but yeah, they're going to get the ball back. All they had to do was, well, probably. They're going to back up the Coyotes 10 more yards, force them into 4th and forever. But as it stands, 1st and 10 now for the Coyotes on their own or on the 29-yard line of the Bulldogs. Toss back to Etheridge. He's going to try and get the ball off, and he does to Perry, who's going to rumble all the way down inside the 5, gets upended. Looks like you have an injured defender over there for the Bulldogs. He's going to get up and try and walk it off, but that's going to be 1st and goal at the 2-yard line here for the Coyotes. And you run it in here, that pretty much ices the game, I think. It's going to be awful hard for the Coyotes to try, or for the Bulldogs to try and score a couple of times and get this back down under 45. So, got that split back under center look here. Oh, looks like Coyotes are just going to go the alternate route and just go ahead and take a knee and run this out. So while they're doing that, I'm going to run this one ad that I'm supposed to run for the UIL as well, and then we'll be back with you. All right, and the second kneel down, ticking under 30 seconds to go. And that's going to be a win for your Richland Springs Coyotes. They'll move on to the next round. Unfortunately, I won't be available next week. If you've enjoyed listening to this, I'm glad. The Coyotes are still moving on. After next week, I'll try and get the live stream if I can. If not, then I can do a radio broadcast again, if that's what people want. But that's going to be a wrap. I'm going to play that UIL ad I did not have up yet, so I'm going to play that just to say I did it. But congratulations to your Richland Springs Coyotes. They'll be moving on. Congratulations to the Bulldogs on a good season. And that'll be a wrap for this one. Let me play this ad, then I'll be back with you.
Teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day, interscholastic sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
All right, so again, excellent job by the Coyotes here tonight, sending everyone home early. It's good. I didn't eat dinner yet, so I'll be happy. So, and congratulations on moving on to the Coyotes, and hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving. Hope the Coyotes get another win Thanksgiving week, and I get another opportunity to try and do something for y'all and the following week after that. So, until then, go Coyotes.